Yo, what up?
Hello.
Back in the building. How you doing, Kristen?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing. That's
That's good.
enough. Well, once again, thank you all for joining. All of you for joining. This is Plunked. This is the show where we discuss two teams in one city, that city of Chicago, my kind of town. So what's the word, Kristen?
Nothing.
Full of words, full of energy. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Had some baseball action all weekend. Some good, some bad as usual. Why can't it ever be good at the same time?
We just can't have good things.
Why can't I mean even in the middle of not the middle, but even during the season when the Sox are going up and down, neither team they're never up at the same time.
Nope. It's just not meant for Chicago fans to be happy at the same time.
It's just always got to be
Nobody has
beef.
to be angry.
Got to be angry. Got to have beef.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to be able to say, "Well, we're doing better than you."
Right.
At all times, even though they both stink.
Yeah, it's not. Neither team should be proud of those records.
And neither fan should be.
That's what I mean.
Neither group of fans should be proud of their record.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs fans could definitely be a little bit prouder than the Sox fans.
Yeah,
I give y'all that. But I mean, again, what your father would say, the shortest little person. You know what I mean? See,
tallest little person.
That's right, the tallest little person. See, I didn't use the M word. I'm getting politically correct
That's
here.
good.
I'm trying. I'm trying here. So, anyways, let's get right to it. Cubs in action today against the Phillies. Good old Kyle Schwarber, a member of that Phillies team.
Mm-hmm.
World Series contenders last year.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the Cubs dropped 2 of 3 to the Phillies. I don't know. Let's start with what are the fans to think about this team? Are you just still feeling good about where you are in this rebuild, quote unquote rebuild, not quite a rebuild, or are you down on them right now? Where are you at?
I guess in the middle. It shouldn't have been any expectations, and they fooled us in the beginning, and now they're back to what you thought they were going to be. But then you're looking, and there's still so many holes. So now you're like, well, how much longer in this rebuild? Because there's so many holes, and how are they going to fill them? And I don't know. The bullpens starting pitching's fine, except for maybe that Jameson Tyone. He's a problem. But you got a Cy Young contender and Justin Steele. You still have Marcus Stroman's good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what Kyle Hendricks is going to be when he gets back. Drew
Professor.
Smiley has been good. The Wyzinski, I'm probably saying his name wrong, so I'm not going to say it. The other kid, he's gotten better. Like he's been on a little bit of a roll right now, so that's good. But then you get to the bullpen. I don't think there's been a closer selected. Some people thought maybe try Alzolay, but they really haven't. They bring him in the 7th and 8th or whatever. And today he gave us a 2-run home run. But the offense is still so sad that, your pitching can't give up 2. You can't score more than 1 from the same person who keeps giving you home runs. But so what do we think of this team? That they're still bad, that they have a few pieces, but they really don't.
They got some pieces, but not really.
Not really. They got 5 pieces out of 25 possible pieces. No,
Right.
probably more than 5. But it's still not good. I don't even know who this one guy, why he's up for the outfield instead of Nelson uh, Velasquez. I don't know why they brought up the other guy instead of him. It's just, I'm back to feeling how I thought I was going to feel at the beginning of the year when they started.
And you knew you would be here at some point.
Yes, but I'm tired of being here.
Yeah.
It's just after them being, you knew they weren't as good as they were, but you were hoping they weren't going to be as bad as they are sometimes. So maybe they are in the middle, but I'm tired of them being closer to bad. Like their middle is really just leaning more towards bad than it is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of late, I would agree with you.
Yeah,
they are
they're
teetering more towards
1-5.
bad.
Yeah, in their last 6 games, they've only won 1. That was that one against the Phillies.
Wow.
That was the only one.
That's
They
tough.
yeah, they lost all of the games to the Astros. Yep. And then they won that first one against the Phillies, scored a lot of runs. And then after that, and the Phillies pitching, pretty sure it's bad. So the fact that they still can't
generate any runs.
And I don't know why Barnhart's still here instead of the kid that they sent back down. Just bring him up and let him be Gomes.
Yeah.
Back up. Like,
yeah.
The point of the Barnhart and his 208 average, and just let him go. You let go of Hosmer because you had
that was good news.
Yeah, you DFA'd him because you
I
had.
mean, it's good news that they let him go. Not good news that they had to let him go because his.
But it's not like Mervis is really killing it, so he's not much better than Hosmer right now. But I guess he had the fanfare. You're hoping because he's young. I'm not giving up on him because I'm the one who's saying bring up the young people and let them learn how to hit this pitching. So, blah. That's how Cubs fans should feel about this team. Blah.
You should feel blah.
Yeah, just get ready for a roller coaster of emotions for the rest of the year. And we'll be thinking about, are they buyers or sellers? Probably going to be sellers, but I don't need any more suspect prospects. Time to start, I don't know, building someone who's going to win. We did all that laughing at the Cardinals, and they jumped ahead of the Cubs percentage points.
Yeah, they did. The Cardinals are going to
Cardinals. When other people are like, it's the Cardinals. Wilson Contreras is now back to being the catcher. He's hitting. They're getting it together like I knew they would.
Like they do.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I don't know. David Ross isn't good, but he also wasn't given much to work with in the bullpen. But he also makes terrible decisions. Yeah. And I don't think they're really setting him up for success because they don't plan on keeping him around once they become contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to just, give a middle finger to the front office and do what Lovie Smith did, and I'm just going to try to win. I don't care about your ideas of let's tank so we can, sell off people and we'll be okay selling off people because we're bad or whatever. Just try to win, David. You're not going to be here. Build up your resume for your next job.
Cubs are winners of 1 in their last 8.
Yeah, sad. Yikes. Sad. That's sad.
Which includes a sweep by the Astros. They dropped 2 of 3 to the Twins, which was bad because the Twins aren't that good, and we were hoping you guys would help us out a little bit with beating the Twins. That didn't quite happen.
Yeah, you can't look for Cubs help.
Yeah, I know.
Not just because it's the Sox, it's because they're not good enough.
No, it's not intentional.
Yeah.
It's not intentional.
Pitching's good, so you can be happy about that.
I get it. I get it. Well, I mean, we've already kind of talked about it, but I mean, yeah, another bad week for the Cubbies. How many runs have they scored over this?
Well, so okay, they had the explosion in the first game, 10, and then they scored 4 the next 2 games. And then they scored 6, and that was the bullpen messed that up. And they scored 3 against the Astros, and they scored 4. And then they scored 3 against the Twins, 1 against the Twins, and when they won that 1-6. So it's been up and down. The bullpen has really let them down as well.
Yes,
But they really
that
don't.
Houston game was a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
That 7-6 loss.
Keegan Thompson.
Keegan
He was
Thompson.
sweating. He was sweating a lot too, boy.
He was sweating.
Man, sweating bullets because he just couldn't do anything. But and then they don't really have defined roles. From what I can see, it doesn't seem like, but maybe they know what they're doing. But from the outside,
Yeah, and I look at David Ross with that. It's kind of like he's kind of all over the place when it comes to his pitching lineups. You know, as far as like not the starting lineup, obviously, but just like who's the setup guys, who's the closers. Like I know you don't have a defined closer yet, which is always bad news. You know,
right?
closing by
Closed
committee
by committee.
never works.
That spells disaster.
Always a disaster. Because I mean, you're only closing by committee because you don't have a closer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, that's and so that is a problem. They don't have a closer. And if they did, I think a lot of those bullpen pieces would fall into place a little bit better. You know, if you knew you had your guy at the end and you're only dealing with, you know, the 7th and 8th inning, you know, maybe even the 6th, that makes it a lot easier than when you got to think about, okay, who's going to like get, you know, the last 3 outs too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you trying to figure that out on the fly or
Yeah.
what. Like that's difficult for any team, for any manager, I'd imagine.
And he probably and to be fair to him, no one's really stood out enough for him to say, "Hey, I think you can shut people down."
Right.
So he's tried so many people. I think he should just try maybe a little longer. But then when he did that and they kept being bad, like that Fulmer, so I just don't even think there's people in there who want to do it, but can they do it?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's like there's some guys who have the physical mechanics to do so, but being the closers, like you got to have a certain like that heart, you know, that guy that can do those last. And we've seen when guys get taken out of that closer role and they struggle. Like I mean, we saw what Craig Kimbrell was doing last year. And as soon as he got, well, no, that was 2 years ago. Wow. As soon as he got to the White Sox, and he was the number 8 guy, he struggled mightily. When he didn't have that, maybe he worked better under pressure, I think.
Yeah,
And,
he saved the game today.
did he?
He got the last out.
Oh, with the Phillies.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Well, that pretty much fits.
Of all people.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you figured it was going to be. But I, you know,
with that being said, the Cubs, you know, still only 5 out, like in a 2-way tie with St. Louis, 5 out, and just one better than Cincinnati.
Oh, that sounds bad.
It is bad.
It's like the typical Central for either side.
The Central just stinks. It's been bad since they came up with a Central, really.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a bright spot with the Cubbies. Did I spell Chris Morel's name right?
Yes.
Okay. Chris Morel.
Yes, he is. Can you believe in 11 games, 8 home runs?
8 home runs in 11 games.
And they said when he was tearing it up in the minors, well, we can't find a place for him to bat. He could take anyone's bat except for Nico.
Yep.
And right now, Seiya's hitting well, but there wasn't a place in the lineup he couldn't hit for. He can't catch. So, but he definitely could have been your DH.
Absolutely. I mean, with things the way they are, with there being a DH in the NL, like, well, yeah, get that guy some at bats.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's nobody even killing it in the outfield like that he's not worth giving this, playing him for,
Yeah.
So I think Cody Bellinger, being out a couple of games is,
Yeah, now he's on the injured list.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he'll be out a while. So that's why it opened up. But I mean, I know he's not good defensively, but he would have been a better DH than anyone else you were letting do it.
Absolutely.
So you see, it's just silliness like that. Just who? I mean, my thing is like, whose spot couldn't he have taken?
Yeah.
He doesn't. The only spot like he plays, and I'm not saying he plays any of these defensive spots well, but he can play short. Maybe not short. He could play third. He could play all the outfield, and he could DH. He plays second, but you weren't replacing Nico. I understand you're not taking out Nico. Nico gets hurt, so then there was room. But Mancini and Hosmer were your main DHs. He could have taken either of those spots.
I mean, Patrick Wisdom.
Yes. He's just, I'm tired of that one.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It was fun for a minute because he was hot for a minute, but you knew it was going to come back to Patrick Wisdom.
Absolutely.
Seiya's getting healthier, so
what's going on with Suzuki? Perfect timing.
He's gotten healthier, so he threw out a runner today. He's hitting home runs. He's getting his power back, so that oblique is feeling better. So I think you can see him coming around. He's looking better. And he's getting power, so that's a good thing to see.
That's a good thing.
But
he's still not a difference maker at this point.
No.
They have too many holes to have like a huge difference maker at this point.
But he's not the reason they're doing bad.
Exactly.
I mean, he's at 285. He had that one big game that really helped his stats.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, 1 stolen base, OPS 849. So he's really improved. And over the last 7 games, his average is 346, slugging 846, on base percentage is 414. So he's been really good. And
tearing it
last
up.
30 games, 286, 377 on base percentage. Slugging wasn't good, but he's gotten hot. So we need him to keep getting hot. He's showing his arm. I think he was known for having a decent arm in the outfield, so he showed it today. I really don't have much of a problem with Seiya. And overall, Bellinger's kind of come down, but overall the outfield has been decent. It's been okay. They still need, like, I know Patrick Wisdom had a lot of home runs, but they are still missing. They're still missing that. Like, they need some consistent boppers who also get on base a little more.
And what happens when you don't have anybody bopping the ball? You leave a lot of men on base.
Yep.
And that is what you are seeing with any struggling team. Always leaving men on base. And that's usually because there's no home run ball.
Yep. In the last 7 games, he scored no runs. This is Wisdom. He has only 2 hits. And he struck out 13 times in the last 7 games. 2 hits and 13 strikeouts. Bye. You can go.
Leads the team in strikeouts at 59. while also leading the team in home runs with 12.
Right, with 12. But Christopher Morel, 11 games, is only 4 behind him.
Yeah, he's on his way.
And in the last 30 games, Wisdom's hitting 224. His on base 321. He has struck out 44 times in the last 30 games. What did I just say? 44 times and 98 at bats.
That is Patrick Wisdom. That is, he's either home run or striking out. And right now he's cold, so there's more striking out than home run.
And that's why he does not play as much.
Right.
But anyway, so Christopher Morel, glad he's here, doing well. He better stay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's
It's
kind of
gonna
like,
go down. We all know it's coming. There's gonna be a big slump.
sure.
But that isn't the time that you send him back because you know what he can do once he comes back.
Absolutely. Like, there's no reason at this point, I think, to send him back down at all. No. Like, you know, and I say the same thing about Mervis.
Yeah.
Like, let him work it out. Let him figure it out.
That's how I feel about all of them. Like when I mentioned last time, just let them learn up here. You're not going anywhere. I don't care if the Central is bad. You're not catching up to any of these people. You're not.
They are not making the team worse.
At all.
Because you're sitting somebody else, you know, like, no.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. It's the Cubs.
Absolutely. We got Deb in the house. What up, Deb?
Yeah. You ready to watch your Mets clobber the Cubbies?
Could be, although the Mets have had some struggles. I think they're picking it up a little bit, but they've had their struggles this year as well.
That is why they'll clobber the Cubbies, because they've been struggling. This is people coming here just ready to eat.
This is some get back. Some get back. They beat the Indians today, which always appreciative of.
Yeah, so well, I think when did they start? Is it Tuesday?
Mets winner of 5 straight.
Yeah,
so they're hot right now.
They have a better record. They're 25-23. They've gotten above 500, and they're facing Smiley, so the Cubs do have a chance. Smiley's he's 4-1, 286 ERA, so that's pretty good. So, but once he hands it over to the bullpen,
so perfect.
Right, it goes right.
Perfect.
It's set up.
Timing is everything, Deb. Yes.
Then it is set up nicely for the Mets to win because the bullpen is atrocious right now not atrocious. Let me not over exaggerate. They have some timely mistakes in their bullpen right now. So that sets up nicely for the Mets.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that series.
All right. So let's move on to a side of town that's winning.
Well,
more than the Cubs.
They win currently. First series sweep. So how are we feeling in Soxland? And they got their first series sweep against a division rival. Feeling good with both hands, like our friend Hassan Phenomenon always says. Feeling good with both hands. Not overly excited, of course. They took care of business. And they've won consecutive series for the first time. They took 2 of 3 against Cleveland and took these 3 at home against Kansas City. So some home cooking has worked for us this year so far. And, feeling good, really feeling good about the outing by Michael Kopech yesterday, 8 innings with 1 hit. So not
positive.
There's some positives, you know what I mean? We're getting healthy. This bullpen is getting healthy, and I don't know, like, guys are just playing better. Like, however like, well, what's the explanation? I don't know. Guys just aren't sucking the way they were sucking earlier in the season.
Let's see.
The bullpen has thrown 19.2 scoreless innings in a row. So as the Cubs bullpen has gone down, the White Sox bullpen has stopped sucking. And Joe Kelly,
I was about to say that's the guy right now.
Joe Kelly's unhittable.
Remember, you all wanted him out of town.
I mean, we didn't want him out of town, but it was like he hurt his groin running in from the bullpen.
That's right.
I blame him being a member of the White Sox more than him. Like, that wouldn't have happened if he was on another team. It was just that he was on the White Sox, and during that stretch, like, if you were associated with the White Sox, something weird was going to happen to you, including a groin strain running in for a fight from the bullpen.
For an unnecessary fight.
Yeah, the unnecessary charge by the bullpen. But Joe Kelly has been brilliant. That sinker has been nasty. I've seen him throw some pitches that were just filthy. He's been filthy over this past stretch, and the bats have come alive since being benched. Luis Robert, his bat has come alive, and I can't say enough about Jake Berger, his bat. He's another guy that, like, no way in hell should he be sent back down to the minors. So things are, we got smiles on our face, but we know, it's still a long season. The storm will come again. We got to go back out on the road.
Oh, let's see what's there. We'll see. They play the Indians next
against Cleveland. Yeah, and Jose Ramirez was not in the lineup the last 3 games we played them, and he will be. So that's never good.
And then you got the Tigers, who are right ahead of them. So, this is a nice little divisional thing.
Yeah, like this is a chance to make up some games in the division. The Tigers, been, they stink too. They're just not as stinky as they usually are.
Well, they have one more win than the Sox.
Yeah.
And the Sox have played 4 more games, and then they have a lot of makeup games to make.
Yeah, so they stink. They're 3.5 games out.
Well, to say that, but it is, like you said, it is less stinky than they normally are.
Yes, they're less stinky than they normally are. And Kansas City is really smelly right now. I mean, God, they got swept by the Sox. How bad do you have to be to get swept by the Sox right now?
They just don't know how to rebuild after that World Series.
After the World, they've just, I mean, I got no love for Kansas City though. I don't hate them, but they're not like the Twins or anything. But
you're the absolute nemesis.
You're right.
Do you dislike the Twins more than the Guardians?
I do. I don't like it's like the Indians. I dislike them. I root against them because they're in the same division. It's kind of obvious. But the Twins, I just hate. Like, I hate the Twins. Like, I haven't liked the Twins since Kirby Puckett. Like, I haven't, and I didn't like the Twins when Kirby Puckett was on the team. I like Kirby Puckett. But I haven't. I've hated the Twins since Kirby Puckett retired, and I still do. And but the Twins are like, they're kind of like the Green Bay of of the AL Central. They're always mostly in control. They win it more than everybody else, but then don't do shit in the playoffs. they ain't shit compared to the rest of the
No,
league.
yeah, they be like when they get it, like, oh, the Central is awful. Look at this team.
Absolutely. It's again the tallest little person. You know, which
Yeah,
which
they
is
get in
like
there.
this is the NFC North.
Yeah, it is. Mm.
So, but a good news is, you know, the bullpen is doing well, and you know we got Garrett Crochet back, and he's been pitching well, and we have Liam Hendricks coming back, and
That's good.
and those are good things. You know, it's great Liam's coming back because he is cancer free. You know, more than anything, no matter what he does when he gets back with the team,
He's
it'll just be great that he's back,
mhm,
period, and
mhm.
beat cancer. So looking forward to getting that extra energy back in the in the bullpen. And you know, we just gotta take it a game at a time.
Mhm. All right. So speaking of you guys getting healthy, Eloy will be returning soon, right?
He will be
So
back soon. Not as soon as he thinks, but
right,
soon.
because he did that last year too. I'll be
Yeah,
back.
he's like, next week.
Absolutely not. You rest.
Absolutely not.
So now you're not his bats returning immediately. So who's
Yeah.
gonna lose the bats once he returns?
Well, it can't be Jake Berger. Um, Yikes. That is a tough one. Because he was really hitting before he went down with an appendectomy. So, you know, him coming back, it's like about getting his timing back. It's not like he's coming back from like some like injury, like, oh, how's the knee? How's the back? How's
Mhm.
the oblique? It's like, well, how's the gut? Well, should be fine. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of just a little bit of a few games, just get his timing back. Um, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like somehow, some way, it might be Andrew Vaughn who loses a couple at bats because Andrew Vaughn has struggled as of late, and I think Gavin Sheets has proven himself to be a worthy bat, and he can man first base,
Mhm.
and you can put Eloy out and right, which
Okay.
he has played some right this year.
Mm.
So
And
you know,
what happens with what's his name in right? No, where's what's his name? The newer guy.
Bolas,
No. Bennett.
Benintendi.
Yeah, where is he?
Well, Benintendi's in left.
Left. Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
thought he was in right. He's in left.
No,
Okay.
Benintendi's is the guy in left.
Okay.
And when Eloy has not been the DH, he's played right this year. Only been a handful of times where he has not been the DH, but when he has been, he's played right field. So
I mean, I know an appendectomy has nothing to do with him playing position, but you know, based on Eloy's history, he needs to just go ahead and stay a DH.
yeah, I mean, it's like how do you appendectomy? Like you don't plan for that.
Right, but
There's
like
no
him
like avoiding like, oh, you don't run so hard or something like it's like.
right, him going for him trying to make a play, he hurts himself.
Yeah, I mean, and like at appendectomy, that wasn't even like making a play. Like,
No, but like that's what I'm saying. I know that one wasn't his fault, but we know his other history of injuries.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm not saying those were his fault, but it was him making a play during the game, and he just has bad luck.
and it could come down to it being a tough decision because what do you do with Jake Berger? He's hitting the tit snacks off the ball. You don't send him back down, but where do you play him? You know, Elvis will be back at second.
Mm.
I think it's important to keep Elvis, even with his terrible bat. I think it's important defensively to keep him in the infield. They've toyed with the idea of putting Jake in the outfield,
Mm.
getting some time in the outfield. I don't know. It's kind of like one of those like, oh, it's a good problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you
But
got all these guys who are hitting, and where do you put this guy, that guy? You know what I mean? But
it is going to be a tough decision.
it is going to be a tough decision, and I think part of it is, well, what do you do with guys at the trade deadline?
Deadline. Yeah. So there, will they be buyers or sellers? We know it all depends on their record.
Right.
But do you trust this team as it is right now? Do you trust or believe they can make a run and not be the Twins getting into the playoffs and just being out of there? Or okay. So so they need to be buyers.
The best they could do is be the Twins and
Mhm.
get in by default of they won the division.
Okay.
That is the absolute best.
And then once
They
they
can
get
do.
in there, is this team, as is currently, are they good enough to make noise in the playoffs?
I don't
Or
believe
will
so.
they make noise?
I don't think so.
Yeah. And so now we just struggled with who loses at bats. So where do you guys need the help if they're going to be buyers?
If they're winning and they decide they're going to go for it, I think that's a good question, and I haven't thought enough about it. Honestly, because I haven't thought about them being buyers. I can't even. When they should have been buyers last year, they weren't. So I can't imagine this year. Like, who would the Sox need? Like say this team turns it around and they start playing good and they take over, first place in the division, and at the deadline, I would think that they would definitely need pitching help.
Okay.
It's so tough to say because there's a lot of things that we're waiting to see. We're waiting to see how's Liam when he comes back. Does he struggle? Do we need to look for another closer for the year? You know what I mean? It's kind of tough to say. It's so early. And I know I came up with this topic at the last minute. But when I came up with it, I said, like, it's really early to be talking about.
Well, there's been the rumors that they think that they'll trade Lucas. And then the other rumor has been that the Cubs will be interested in him.
If you trade Lucas, there's a couple of clubs that could be interested. It could be a team like the Cubs. It could be a team like Baltimore. It could be a team like the Phillies, even, who could use some pitching help. Lucas has been our most consistent starter this year, even more so than Dylan Cease. I'm not saying he's been our best pitcher.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's our best pitcher. I still say Dylan Cease is our best pitcher. But I feel like Lucas has been the most consistent. And if you trade Lucas, because chances are they're not going to re-sign Lucas, I think if you trade Lucas, you're not going for it. You're not trying to win this year. You are thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And I think realistically, that is where the Sox are going to end up, is thinking about the future. And, it would be great if they made a run this year and all of that. But, I mean, realistically, they don't have the horses that are going to really make noise in the playoffs because they don't have the healthy horses. Another person who's struggling is Tim.
And did he have the issue, or did he not say, I hate this place, or I hate the pitch clock? That's the debate.
He said, I hate this syllable. There was another word.
So not enough for pitch clock.
There was enough for, well, Tim kind of mumbles when he talks.
I hate this pitch clock.
Right.
Or I hate this clock. Maybe, no, he said something with the P.
Man.
I think most people can read P. That's why they're guessing it's either place. But okay, and that's not just why he's struggling. But the past couple of years, he's had some things besides baseball that have made baseball hard on him.
Yes,
Like
he has.
this, did he not say I hate this place? Well, you know how it is in the media. It's more fun if he said I hate this place, and now we
Man, I
have
hate this
right
pitch
now we
clock.
can have the fans on him, because we will build you up to tear you down. So it's tear down time, and he started it off last year with the baby.
Yep. And then with his comments and going into the season about the fans needing to be more, it's like
and what, like, media against him, everyone, people against him, and then and now to put all that, and he's struggling defensively, everything. It's like it's just there's quite the storm brewing around him, and all it takes is a good series from him, and all will be, he's
Of
playing
course.
well, and then the Sox are winning, and all will be forgotten and forgiven.
Of course.
But is he?
However, I do think he might need to slide down in the batting order a little bit. Adam Benintendi can take care of the leadoff spot, and while Tim is struggling until he kind of figures it out or his legs get healthy, it might be best for him to slide down. But
and now he has a player out. Is it a team option, right?
Yeah, he something like he could be gone at the end of the year, and like the Sox. How does that work? I don't.
I've seen people say, he's just looking for the Sox to decline his option.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure he's looking for a new contract.
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to play. Maybe he does hate this place. So
maybe he does. I can see him not liking it here.
Mm-hmm.
But not any fault of anybody. I could see him kind of wanting a new start.
Because he's been here when they were just that close, and then they can't get over the hump, and I don't know how well he takes criticism.
He's kind of like, he's got like that Kevin Durant thing going. You know what I mean? Like, he does not take criticism. I don't know how coachable Tim is.
Yeah, and then he'll keep telling you, nothing bothers me, well, you're bringing it up, so it clearly bothers you.
Something's bothering you.
Yeah, something's bothering you. And maybe all of this, all his feelings, and maybe not looking like he's having as much fun as he's had before is because of the losing. Because you can have a bunch of great guys, and losing makes it look like you have terrible culture.
Yeah, I mean, and the culture usually is bad when you're losing,
right? Because if you're losing and the fans or the media sees you smiling, they don't take it seriously, because in the fans and media's mind, you're supposed to be miserable.
Right. If you're losing, you gotta be miserable.
Right. At home with your kids, you should never be out smiling. Don't you dare go out to eat because you're losing.
Be seen out.
Right.
You should be taking BP at all times.
That is how people feel. So then you got to stay mad when you're losing. Now, I'm not saying you should be in there dancing when you're losing 10-1. Like, you shouldn't be in there doing anything silly, but I don't know. So maybe I said all that to say maybe that is part of Tim's problem. And if they keep winning series, he'll like the place better. And he'll do better, because when he's better, the team's better.
Absolutely.
So, and I know he probably wants more money, but his market isn't going to be as high as he thinks it is.
Of course.
He's a good only bread and water. He's good, consistent. He can hit on all that, but he has really no power anymore.
Yes. Has not hit a home run, and it's been about a calendar year now.
Yeah,
Since he's hit a home run. Extra base hits lacking. Slugging percentage is way down. He's just dropping little singles in when he's hitting it all.
Now let's say the Sox at the trade deadline are this same amount of games out. Do you think they try to trade Tim Anderson?
No.
Okay. They'll hold
on. This same amount of games out, which is
6.5. Now let's say if they drop to 8.5, 8.5 out at the trade deadline.
I think if they're 8.5 out, I think they do move Lucas.
Okay.
Honestly, if they're 8.5 out by the trade deadline, they need to move as many people as they can. And just come to terms with that this rebuild did not work out the way they had hoped or planned. Hold on to the guys that you can who still are under contract. And kind of do a reset. Maybe not
not a rebuild.
Not a rebuild, but a
bad.
reset. And you're gonna have to let some faces go. And one of the first faces they let go was Abreu. And you could see Giolito being let go, and maybe even Tim.
You're a Sox fan. How are you going to be feeling?
I'm going to be feeling shitty the way I always feel as a Sox fan.
Oh my
God! As usual, I'm going to be feeling shitty because they stink.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be sad to see Giolito in another uniform. And it would be sad to see Tim in a Dodger uniform. And it would, it's sad to see Jose Abreu in a Houston uniform.
Yeah, all the rumors are Tim going to the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the White Sox have any young prospects that can come up? Nope. Nope. We got. I mean, they need to let Linian Sosa work it out at second, because if he's your guy of the future, then it's like, well, give him some more at bats. You know what I mean?
Do they think he's the guy?
Supposedly, but he struggled mightily against major league pitching.
Yeah.
And same with Oscar Colas. And if you think the Sox have struggled with pitching, although they've been better as of late, if you think they struggle with pitching, like in AAA, they got nothing as far as pitching.
So
they got nothing coming up the pitching pipeline.
That's why they would become sellers.
Yeah,
they need,
because they got nothing they got nothing in the minors making it come up. No. Thanks, Deb. But you had to ask.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the tale of the two teams.
From the sad tale.
Some sad tales.
Positivity right now on the South Side.
Some bad tales.
I see a sad baseball summer.
Oh, and the summer hasn't even really started yet.
Yikes.
We're gonna have to go to every other week with this show.
Right?
If this shit
And he
continues.
gets mad. Because how many times we gonna talk about, are they sellers?
Right.
I told you last week they were sellers.
Can't do this every week. This bullshit.
We got to start watching their minor leagues to see what, and other teams' minor leagues to see what we want.
Like, right. Like, can we trade? Like, right. Who do the Mets have in their system?
Yes.
Who does Baltimore have in their system? Oh my God, who does Tampa Bay have in their system? Because they always got somebody in their system.
Look, see who the Cardinals have.
See who the Cardinals have in their system. And God, we're talking about 2-3 years out. Good goobly goop.
They thought they had an attendance problem before.
Yeah, seriously. You think we're gonna sit through results? Yeah, we will.
Some will.
I will. Yeah. I got no choice.
I mean, hey, I do it every year. I mean, we do it for all our teams.
Yeah. Baby Mets, 3 great players.
Oh, so there you go. There's baby Mets that you guys can get.
All right.
What do they need? What do Mets need? But you know what? See, for
the
me,
Mets need some pitching, I think.
As a Cubs fan, I don't want to wait 2-3 more years. So
I don't either.
So we've been waiting long enough for the Cubs. I need now action. They got some people in there that are ready to come up, and now it's time to fit pieces around them, get them ready, for next year. Start showing signs of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's keep this pity party going. Let's switch over to the NBA for a second.
Pitiful.
Since our last show, the lottery, the NBA lottery happened. The Bulls, with a top 4 protected picked 11th.
So they
therefore have no first round pick.
Well, and honestly, I didn't trust them to pick anyone anyway. So
absolutely not. They would have blown it anyway.
Because that was my question with people. Like, you're talking about AK and Mark Eversley and what they've done. Now, you trusted them to get somebody good in the 4th? We weren't. And I hear Sam Smith or somebody, it may not have been true, but you know how they'll attribute quotes to people, and it may not have actually been him, but the Bulls are done with the big 3 and blah, blah, blah. Bulls, nobody's trying to watch garbage.
Don't do it.
I'd rather watch.
Don't do it.
DeMar and Vooch.
Don't do Patrick
it. Williams and so-and-so.
Right.
Sorry.
Don't do it.
Even if DeMar, Zach, and Vooch aren't bringing us a championship right now,
I'd rather that than don't do it. Don't have Patrick Williams be the best player on your team.
Don't do it. Don't, because the only way, and they always say, well, Bulls fans sell out anyway. No, they really don't. Okay, they give away a lot of tickets.
They give away a lot of tickets.
There's a lot of deals. There's a lot of groups. So yeah, it looks full. It looks great. But that's a lot of what do they call season ticket holders who give away tickets. So it's
people go with big groups of kids,
yes. Or the resale. They're $10. So okay, I'm gonna go to an NBA game and see Steph Curry, for $10 or what. I know those are never $10, but like they find the cheap tickets. But don't. And I know that there's a very loud part of the fan base who are saying, yes, get rid of everyone. I'd rather watch Kristen and Emilio out there than see Zach, DeMar, and Vooch and company. No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Trade DeMar for put Williams in who in DeMar's spot?
Put Williams.
Frank.
No.
Are you on the Patrick Williams wagon?
And Frank basketball right now is really a positionless game. So Patrick Williams, we've seen. He's good off the bench. We've seen what Patrick Williams can do at this point. I know he's really only had one full season. He needs blah 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 blah. He was never the man in college. The other Van Gundy, not Jeff. Stan Van Gundy already explained to everybody when the Bulls thought he could be the man. He's never been the man, so he doesn't know how to be the man. So we're gonna not let him be the man. Okay, he can just be next to the man. He's terrible, as big as he is, as athletic as he is. The fact he can't get a rebound, pitiful.
Can't get a rebound to save his life.
He can't be the main person on my team. He can't. He can still stay on the team, but he can't be main. He cannot be main.
He needs a
He will do it, but I'm gonna have to take a hiatus from Bulls basketball. I can't watch any more of these teams being trash.
Terrible teams. The Jim Boylan era.
Yes.
Patrick Williams had a good second half of the season.
When DeMar didn't play, was the top 6 assist teams. He isn't the main. He is your third. Who's making DeMar the main? And, actually, DeMar actually had decent assist games. I do agree. DeMar played too much ISO ball. The problem with this team is that they have been waiting on Lonzo Ball. That ain't happening. They need a point guard so that DeMar can't ISO. They need a point guard who's going to be like, you're not doing this, DeMar. We're going to
keep the ball moving, and that's exactly what Lonzo did.
Yes, I do agree with you that. And Patrick Williams, he did have a better second half, but that's all he's not going to be much more than that better second half. When they needed him to take over and score more, when Zach and DeMar were off and things like that, he can't do it. He won't do it. He's afraid to do it. They give him the ball in the beginning saying, okay, we just keep feeding you the ball and you're not doing anything.
He's got no cojones.
None.
And you can't teach that. You can't coach that up. You can't coach balls. You just can't.
He spent
you either have them or you don't.
Yes, he spent all that time with DeMar over the summer, so we thought we were going to see more of that killer instinct, like DeMar, like I want the ball, and
that's just not who he is.
That's what Van Gundy said. That's not him. So
that's not who he is.
And a front office not properly. This is my HR, not properly sourcing, not properly vetting out who they're going to draft.
Right.
Because they wanted him for one thing, and that's not him. That's not him.
Yeah.
So he can't be my main person. I can't get rid of. And then what they were talking about trading Zach for, I don't want nothing they have in New York anymore. Remember, that was a big thing. Trade him and get Grimes and Quickly and Obi and all this. Did you see the Knicks in the playoffs? Yeah. If they're not handing us Jalen Brunson, I don't want Jack they have over there.
Nothing.
Julius Randle, garbage. Mitchell Robinson, can't do nothing but rebound. You got that in Andre Drummond, so you don't need another one of those. And I don't want any of those young guys. None. Nope. I don't need that. Now you want to put together if the what are they called with Dame Lillard? If his team, the Trailblazers, if they want Kobe White in the sign and trade, Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, and everybody else that we have on the trash heap over there, they can have them.
Take them. Take all of them.
You can take everybody. You take everybody that can't do anything.
Yeah.
And bring him over here.
And just run 3 guys out on the floor.
That's it. Who's out scoring that team? And Isaiah Thomas, not Zeke, but the other Isaiah Thomas. He said, if the Nuggets wind up winning the championship, every team's going to go out now. It's going to change kind of the game again because it's copycat. And you have Jokic, a big guy who can score down low, who can pass the ball, and who can shoot mid-range and a 3 when necessary. So he's like, now people are getting ready to go out and find that big man like that. Jokic really doesn't play much defense, but he makes a good pass and all that kind of stuff. So he was like, if they win, people are getting ready to try to follow that formula.
Absolutely. It's a copycat league. So
Yeah.
who you got in the finals? I think it's pretty obvious.
I think it's going to be Heat and Nuggets.
Yeah, because the Heat right now are kicking the
Oh my
shit out of
gosh.
Boston.
Does Boston even care? What's
Whoa.
his name that important as the coach? And Jason and Tatum, who's saying he's one of the best in the league. Fool.
You ain't acting like it. You're not playing like it.
And Jaylen Brown, I mean, they has just been garbage. And the way that they're letting them beat them, and Jimmy Butler doesn't even have that many points today. And why the teams are not doubling him, why they're not making him guard someone, because lately Jimmy just sits back the whole first half. He'll score a little bit,
and then he turned that playoff Jimmy on.
Yeah, because he's well rested. So if I'm not even watching the games and I know this is his formula, because I haven't watched any of the games, because I just don't care.
Yeah, I hear you.
But that's been their formula. And Jimmy, he didn't work out any other place because he finally got the perfect coach for him.
Yep.
It's not.
He got a coach he respects outside of Tibbs.
With Tibbs, that was his last one. And that's where he also thrived under him. But it's not even about Jimmy. You know, Jimmy's playing well. Jimmy's a star, all that. We know that. But it's the fact that Eric Spoelstra is so good and can put everyone in the place that they need to be. I mean, his second best player is out. Jimmy can never play with a superstar because he wants to be the superstar. But what he can play with and play well with is good people who are willing to grind it out, play hard, and all that kind of stuff. Not saying that stars don't play hard, but Jimmy wants to be the main man. So he can't have an extra superstar because now they'll be fighting for who's the main man. So just give him good people who can play well. They did double Jimmy a lot today, but the whole team killing. See, and that's so Frank, like, and Jimmy's isn't scoring as much, but the rest of the team is hot because he has at least in this series and in the playoffs, he has a very good supporting cast. And Eric Spoelstra is just good at his job, just like Mike Malone is really good at his job. Like when he, the Lakers made all these, tried to make all these adjustments. Mike Malone can make the same and better adjustments. And, you're only going to get every other game of Anthony Davis. I don't want him. I don't want Anthony Davis over here.
No.
I don't dislike him, but I don't need that.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But that's not the solution.
No. So, yeah, but who do you...
has there ever been, like, sweeps in both conference finals?
I don't know. And I know for both...
because it's been a good playoffs so far, but, like, these conference finals just have not been particularly competitive.
No.
I mean, the Lakers competed in that first game, but they've been completely outmatched since. And Miami and Jimmy, they're just on a mission that Boston can't keep up.
And you notice it's because Ham and was it Mazzulla, two not really well-seasoned coaches that are good. Neither one of them makes good adjustments. Spoelstra and Malone, great tacticians, great designers, great adjusters. They each have a superstar. They have other stars like Bam and Jamal Murray, and then they have Michael Porter, and then you got Jimmy. So they all have just enough stars and enough of the people that enough of the other guys doing just enough, but their coaches can really coach. And they don't have to get secret extensions like our coach.
Speaking of our coach, Billy Donovan knows how to chew that gum on a consistent level.
That is about it.
That's about it.
He can consistently tell you what he told them to do. If they're not doing it, then they shouldn't be playing.
Right.
I told them, well, we discussed it. If they're not doing it, sit down.
Yeah.
Sit them down.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Zach and DeMar. I don't care who it is who's not following your direction and they've lost. But anyway, and even AK got a secret extension. What
I didn't know that. AK got a secret
extension. Somebody said that they're giving secret extensions away.
Wow.
Secret society over there. And it's such a coinky dink who the leader is when you
Sell
look
the
at
team, Jerry.
when you look at the Sox and the Bulls.
Sell the team.
It's time.
It's time. Sell the team.
And all that goodwill AK had, because and you know what he said, people doubted him last summer and he came through. So let's see. But if you sell off everybody,
I mean, you didn't have a first round pick, and the guy that you got because of that, he may not even be back next year.
because they didn't offer him anything.
Right.
So you just want nothing? You want nothing. You made that trade, you gave away, and then you're not gonna keep the one person you had as if he's been your problem. He's probably your most consistent bull.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as flashy as the other two stars,
but he's going to give you what he's going to give you.
He plays 82 games, a walking double-double, doesn't cause any trouble, even when he knows if you gave me the ball, we probably would have won 5 to 6 more games. But you all just ignore me. I scored 19 in the first half. I touch it one more time.
Damn. Krista, you laying it down.
He doesn't complain. So, but
you were laying it down.
I guess I need to get all that off my chest.
Hey, that's what's up.
We complain so much about the Cubs and the Sox.
Bulls get some too.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you said about the Sox, maybe they should be sellers, but I don't even, I'm a Cubs fan, but I don't even feel like seeing anybody in this city go through any more rebuilds, garbage. Nothing against the players because they're all learning, but we're out here watching people who can't win yet. They don't know how to win. They don't really know how to play. We're just giving away games. Who wants to keep watching that? Like that's, and sports aren't our lives. We have other lives, but who wants to keep watching that?
And Jerry is going to be Jerry.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Jerry's all but said he really doesn't care about what the fans think because he believes that, well, if I listen to the fans, I'll be sitting with them. But like your track record, you lucked up on Michael Jordan, and you've been hanging your hat on that for 30 something years.
And then he hires people who then destroy what they're trying to build because Derek and Jimmy could have worked. Derek,
absolutely,
Jimmy, and Tibbs could have worked if the front office wasn't also trying to systematically destroy people.
Exactly. That's a terrible culture.
Yes. And Jimmy fell for the okie doke and they wound up getting rid of him too. He fell for it and started falling into you're going to be the man, Derek this, Derek that. They learned their lesson and kept everything quiet about Lonzo. But for some reason they had a thing against. So Jimmy and Derek and Tibbs could have worked.
Absolutely.
Jimmy would have been the shooting guard, or Jimmy was the shooting guard that Derek had needed all his career. I know he was rolling with Keith, but
oh God.
and then now Jerry has the people in the front office on the White Sox who decide not to make any moves. Don't make good moves.
Don't make any good moves.
Last year they did nothing.
And how long do you keep the same guys doing the same shit?
It's insane, I tell you.
It's insanity.
And we're even more insane because we keep watching it.
Absolutely.
And now
we'll continue to watch it. We'll continue to watch the madness.
Got Bears training camp coming up too.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm excited about Bears season like I always am, but we still got a lot of holes.
Yep. And still
a ways off from really winning substantially. Well, I've had enough.
Yeah.
With that being said, Kristen, it's been a great show.
Yes.
You really held it down tonight. I didn't have much to say.
I had a lot of pent-up anger.
You had some pent-up aggression about these teams, and it was well received by me and hopefully by our viewers. And you spazzed out, and I appreciate it.
I did.
You did. I appreciate it. We appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
And thanks to everybody who made comments. Thanks for everybody for watching. This is Plunked. This is the show where we celebrate two teams, one city. And, go Sox, go Cubs, go Bulls, Bears, Hawks, all of that. Hawks got the #1 pick.
Hey, they're on their way in 5 years.
They're on their way.
Frank knows more about this than me, so I don't know. Maybe it's 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes, I was Frank.
No Hawks talk.
We just said something about the Hawks. They got the #1 pick, so they're on their way.
They're on their way someday.
And yeah, someday.
So I'll get back. Definitely have 5 years, maybe 2 or 3. All right, I'll be ready. I'm gonna get a running start to jump on that Hawks bandwagon I did.
I got on it last time when they were winning.
I'm gonna get a running start this year, though. I'm not gonna wait till the last minute to get on.
That's right. I learned what icing meant because they kept doing.
I learned what icing meant. Yep. I learned what a hat trick was.
I learned.
All right. Hockey. All right. With that being said, signing off for Plunk. This is Emilio Bucks.
I'm Kristen Petit.
All right, and we'll see you all next week. Peace.
Bye.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.